Hey, curious ones! Welcome back to another episode of LilWeird Podcast, where we dive into mysteries, marvels, and the kinds of stories that make you go, wait, what? I'm your host, Jane, and today I invite you to look up. No, really, just tilt your head and look up at the night sky, because tonight we're chasing a mystery that's been watching over us since forever. Yep, we're talking about the moon, but not just the moon as a big glowing rock in the sky. We're talking about the moon as a timekeeper, a muse, a goddess, a beast slayer, and a silent witness to Earth's wildest years. So grab your favorite tea or maybe light a candle because this episode is going to be a journey between scientific wonders and ancient tales, between creators and creatures, between the known and the not quite known. Let's start with what we know, or at least what we think we know. The moon is Earth's only natural satellite, about 384,000 kilometers away, close enough that we can see it with our naked eye, far enough that only 24 humans have ever gone there. And yet, for something so visible, the moon holds so many mysteries, and one of the biggest, how it came to be. Scientists now believe that the moon was born from chaos, the result of a massive collision between baby Earth and a Mars-sized object named Theia. The crash flung debris into orbit, and that debris somehow became her, the moon. So right from the beginning, her story starts with violence, loss, and rebirth. A cosmic phoenix made of molten rock. But wait, she still rumbles. Yes, even now, the moon quakes. Seismometers left by Apollo astronauts pick up moonquakes, some so strong they'd shake your kitchen shelves. Scientists believe the moon is slowly shrinking, and as it does, its crust cracks like a raisin drying in space. Then there are the lunar swirls, ghostly swirling patterns on the surface. They look like someone painted cream into coffee, and they don't match the terrain. They're just there, bright and bizarre. And what's the leading theory of this? That the moon might have mini magnetic shields that protect parts of its surface from solar wind, leaving parts whiter than the others, kind of like cosmic sunscreen. And then there's something called transient lunar phenomena, or TLPs. Random flashes of light, glows, or haze is spotted on the moon. Some say they're gas bursts, some say meteor impacts, others say it's just the moon being weird, and I respect that. But here's something I find utterly beautiful. Because the moon doesn't have wind or rain, the footprints left by the Apollo astronauts are still there. Still there. Like fossils in dust, waiting for someone else to come back. Now, let's pull back from the telescopes and step into myth. Across cultures, the moon has always been more than a rock. She is often she, a goddess, a mother, a mystery. In ancient Greece, the moon was Selene, riding her silver chariot across the sky. In Rome, she became Luna. In China, she is Chang'e, a drunken elixir of mortality, and floated to the moon, where she lives with a jade rabbit pounding herbs. The Inca had Mama Kilya, goddess of marriage and the calendar. In Japan and Korea, people also see a rabbit in the moon, not a man. And in Western cultures, they see the man in the moon, probably because of the shadows cast by the ancient lava plains on the surface. But it's not just about gods and shapes. The moon cycles, waxing, waning, full, new, mirror the cycles of women, of crops, of tides. She was a guide to planting, a warning for fishermen, and a companion to night travelers. And then there were the eclipses. Imagine being an ancient villager, seeing the moon turn blood red and not knowing why. Many cultures imagine creatures following the moon, which brings us home. In the Philippines, we have one of the coolest eclipse stories ever, the legend of Baconawa, the serpent-like creature believed to devour the moon. I actually made a full episode about this. It's in episode 16, The Cosmic Tale of the Moon Eater, Baconawa, and Other Sun and Moon Eating Creatures. If you haven't heard of it yet, I'll link it in the show notes. But Bakunawa isn't the only lunar tale we have. Our skies also carry the story of Bulan, also known as Libulan, a moon deity from Visayan mythology. Many people today know Bulan through a widely circulated version of the tale that frames it as a celestial love story between two male gods. It's a beautiful interpretation that captured the imagination of many, but the real story behind Bulan is more layered and not quite what most think it is. We'll return to that moonlit mystery soon, but for now, let's just say not all that shines in folklore is what it first appears to be. Now, here's something quietly fascinating. Even in this high speed digital age, so many cultures across the world still align their most sacred beliefs and traditions not with the sun but with the moon. Think about that for a second. From Asia to Middle East to ancient communities in Europe and Africa, the moon remains a timekeeper for the soul. And it's not just poetry, it's built into calendars, rituals, and the rhythms of entire civilizations. Let's break it down. The Islamic calendar, for example, is fully lunar. It follows the moon alone. No adjustments for seasons or solar patterns. That means that months like Ramadan or Eid move through the calendar, shifting each year by about 10 or 11 days. Sometimes Ramadan happens during long summer days, other times in chilly winter, and that's part of the spiritual practice. It keeps you grounded in the cycle of the moon, not the rigidity of man-made time. Then there's the Chinese calendar, which is what we call a lunisolar calendar. Months follow the moon. Each one begins with a new moon, but the years are adjusted with leap months to stay in sync with the sun and the seasons. That's why Chinese New Year shifts around late January to mid-February. It's a cosmic balance, a dance between lunar intuition and solar structure. The Jewish calendar does something similar. Festivals like Passover and Sukkot are timed by the moon, but carefully corrected so they still land in the right season. Even Holi and Diwali in India and Vesak in Buddhism fall on full or new moons, chosen not by convenience, but by the sky. You know what gives me goosebumps sometimes? Of course, it's the math behind the moon. It's not just mysticism, it's numbers. And who isn't scared of numbers, right? It's proportions, ratios, patterns that almost seem intentional, just like a cosmic wink. Here's one of the most famous ones. The moon is 400 times smaller than the sun, but it's also 400 times closer to Earth. So when you look up during a total solar eclipse, the moon perfectly covers the sun's disk. Not too big, not too small, just perfect. What are the odds of that, right? No other moon in our solar system does that. Most moons are either too tiny or too close. Earth's moon is uniquely placed to give us that once-in-a-lifetime eclipse magic, where daylight vanishes and you see the sun's halo flickering like a crown of fire. It's so mathematically precise that some ancient civilizations believe eclipses were proof of divine geometry, of gods fine-tuning the sky. Now listen to this. The diameter of the moon is about 3,474 kilometers, roughly one-fourth the size of Earth. But the ratio of Earth to the moon is strangely similar to the ratio of the moon to the human body. Get this. The moon is roughly 108th the distance from Earth as the sun is. And the sun's diameter is also about 108 times than that of Earth. The number 108 pops up everywhere, in Hinduism, in Buddhism, in ancient astronomy, even in the number of prayer beads on a mala. Coincidence? Maybe, but it's poetic math, isn't it? Now get this, the moon orbits every 27.3 days. Guess what else averages about 27.3 days? Yes, the human menstrual cycle, which is why the moon has always been symbolically tied to femininity, fertility, and cycles of renewal. It's as if our bodies were tuned to her rhythm. And just to bend your mind a little more, the moon's rotation period, the time it takes to spin once on its axis, is also 27.3 days. That's why the same side of the moon always faces us. The moon is, in a way, locked into a cosmic case, spinning just fast enough to always show us her same face, never turning away. Another thing that always intrigued me, even in pop culture, is the moon is often cast not just a backdrop, but as a watcher. Have you seen the movie The Truman Show? In that story, the moon isn't just a light in the sky. It's a surveillance tool, a hidden camera. The glowing orb above is quite literally an eye quietly tracking Truman's every move. But that idea didn't start in Hollywood. It echoes something much older. In ancient myths, the moon was a silent witness, watching lovers part, kings rise, secrets unfold. In dreams, she reflects what you won't say aloud, and in shadowy tales, she becomes something more unsettling, a symbol of self-control, of being watched without knowing who's watching. Some even whisper that there's someone up there, a presence behind the light. Not divine, not monstrous, just aware. And maybe that's why she still fascinates us. Because the moon doesn't just orbit, she observes. Whether she's a dragon's prey, a cosmic clock, or a secret camera in movie sky, the moon holds a mirror up to us. She becomes what we need her to be. A guide, a guardian, a glowing symbol of mystery. She's never loud, never forceful. She just rises, watches, waits, turning tides and tugging quietly at the threads of our imagination. She's math and myth in the same breath, spinning with such strange precision that she can eclipse the sun, match human cycles, and steer questions deeper than science alone can answer. She marks our calendars, yes, but she also marks our memories. Those quiet moonlit moments, the ones that make us stop and look up, those are hers. And in those moments, it feels like maybe we are not alone. Not just in the universe, but in the very act of wandering. The moon is constant, but never the same. She disappears, she returns. She is the rhythm, the witness, the reflection. And perhaps that's the real magic. Not that we've walked on her surface, but that after all these years, she still walks through us. Thank you for staying with me under the spell of moonlight tonight. If you love this episode and want to explore more of the stories, symbols, and soft curiosities that live in the LilWeird universe, I have a couple of special things to share. First, LilWeird is now on Substack and Coffee. That means you can now read written versions of my deep dives, get behind the scenes, musings, and support this podcast in a way that keeps it glowing. And speaking of glow, I just released my first digital journal, the Moon Notes Manifestation Journal. It's soft and intentional, a space to track your thoughts, desires, and dreams in rhythm with the lunar cycle. Inside, you'll find the moon phase worksheets, intention setting prompts, dream reflection pages, and cards to help you reconnect with your inner world, all crafted to help you move gently and with clarity through each moon phase. You can get the Moon Notes Journal for $8 in the coffee shop, but if you'd like to leave a little tip, which I lovingly call charms in the shop, or if you become a monthly supporter, I'll give the journal to you in exchange for whatever amount you share. Think of it as a gift passed from one curious soul to another. All the links are in the show notes. If you have stories to share, suggestions, comments, or just want to say hi, you can also DM me on IG. Thank you again for being here, for looking up, and for wondering. Until next time, stay curious and stay lunar.